this guy is amazing at golf, and he's just been dealing with this stress. This thing is unleashed. You don't know where it can go. Man, how cool would it be if like we get to see him just play the way he can play, like without any of this other stuff? It's gonna be so fun.
Talk about dealing with pressure, man. Right, Rory, 14 years in the making. This, like, the Grand Slam's been haunting him. How do you deal with that's immense pressure that he's constantly dealt with, and like scar tissue and demons, right? Like I kept thinking when he's teeing off on the 10th tee every time, like he's like, what do you do with that?
Yes.
And when do you get to see the moment that the monkey comes off somebody's back, like in real life? Like it doesn't exist. Do you see what I'm saying? And so like seeing a moment where somebody like achieves their dream, it's insane. It's like an insane thing. And like, this is such like a crazy statement to me. Like I don't know Rory McIlroy at all, right? I will never probably meet Rory McIlroy. And I was tearing up watching him in that moment, right? And it was like really meaningful to me. And just like, because you just get to see like a human going through something in like a 20-year quest for it, and the moment of achieving it, and you're like, man, that is so cool. Like just getting to watch somebody like accomplish
and seeing the
something.
worst of it and living like the worst of it, right?
Yes.
So it's not, it hasn't been champagne and roses. Like, it's been every year disappointment, right?
Yes. And what the crazy thing is, Shane, like, you know, that the time we actually like talked about it, I think, on an episode like after the US Open, when he like didn't talk to the media. The craziest thing, and of course he would have rather have won, all that stuff, but this was sweeter because that experience was recent and terrible.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Like, so it's just like such a crazy, you know, embodiment of all the things that we talk about, of like, no, like, you know, he can turn it around. He made that into a positive for his life, you know, by doing it. But like just the look on his face afterwards, I'll like never forget how he looked in that moment, you know? And I saw this cool thing, which was like, they showed him after he won the Players. There was like a side-by-side, and he won $18 million. Maybe not one of the Players. I think he won whatever like the FedEx Championship is, I think. You know, he won something where he won $18 million. Okay. And then the Masters, of course, the purse is like 4.3, which is an amazing amount of money, but it ain't 18. And just like the side-by-side of like, he like looked really happy, you know, when he won the other tournament. And then he looked like just like the greatest thing had ever happened to him when he won the Masters. It's like, it ain't about the money.
That's way better. It's true reality TV, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The ultimate. Well, he talked about like he basically the weight that he'd been carrying around for 14 years, like to go around back to 2011 when he was like leading the Masters by 4 strokes, and then he falls apart. And every year it's at the same place. He has to come back. He has to answer the same fucking questions. Is he ever going to fulfill his destiny and get the Grand Slam? And then to be thinking like you're getting older, and now like, again, time is, you don't have, you know, all these opportunities, and that it's finite. And then that he did like virtually like almost fucked it up on hole 13, you know, with the wedge shot.
That was crazy.
And then I think to see the resiliency of the shot he hit on 15, which was ridiculous. And then even again on 18, he messes it up, but he gets the playoff, and like to win it with, you know, 3 unbelievable shots and a birdie. Like, I think the resiliency of how he did it, like it was just like, it was to your point, like high drama reality TV. It was like must watch.
I got into it with I was on a group text, and this one guy said, "Oh, Rory, like I wish everyone would stop throwing roses at him. He almost choked it away." And I said, "Look, I you know, I'm usually quiet on these things, but I piped up. I said, look, Bubba, the truest thing about sports that you got to remember is the further you are away from the game, the easier the game becomes." All right.
Ooh, I like that. Oh man,
you know,
I like
physically. Think about it. The game is really easy when you're watching from the upper deck versus when you're courtside, right? It's even harder when you're on the floor playing, right? So physically, mentally, spiritually, the further you get away from the game, the easier the game becomes, right?
Dude, I think, Shane, that's like so insightful. I also think golf is this like incredibly like intense version of that. Of there's no defense, right? Like it's just you. So when like you can't even blame anything on like somebody else hit a good one past me. Like it's all up here in addition to the game. So that it gets even harder, I think, to compare yourself of like, what would you do in that situation? Because it's just him. It's just him. And like one of my friends who played college tennis, he was talking about like sports where you can't run the clock out,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
think about it. Like, this thing don't end. It doesn't. There's no end until you put the ball in the hole on 18 at the end. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's like a weird mentality too. And like, it's going poorly. It's like, oh my God, maybe he could like never get off the course,
Yeah.
you know, and to have to keep fighting. That was one of the cooler things I think I've ever watched. And I agree with you. Like, just real. It's like one of the few things you have that's like multi-year and real now.
Yeah.
You know, I hope we can get Rory a play free shirt. You know why? Because I think the rest of his career, this dude's playing free.
Yes.
I think,
Well,
right?
He's
Like,
earned it. He's
Yeah.
earned it.
he's
Like,
earned the right to play
all
free.
the crap he's taken, you know, all the
Even he was-
times he had to face the media, right? Face the fans, face social media. You know, everyone's, you know, saying everything about him, you know.
Dude,
and-
Podrick Harrington, Shane,
Oh.
he had this great thing. And by the way, that guy's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
He was like, guys, you don't understand. He's like, you don't understand how good Rory is. He's like, everyone just thinks about him as like this like career Grand Slam thing. He's like, he is so fucking good. He's like, this guy might win 10 majors now. He might win 15. He's like, you guys don't understand. He's like, this guy is amazing at golf. And he's just been dealing with this stress. He's like, if this thing is unleashed, you don't know where it can go. And I was like, man, how cool would it be if like we get to see him kind of like just play the way he can play, like without any of this other stuff. It's gonna be so fun.
I think it is. I hope like scary to think about, but I even thought the last like 2 hours of that on Master Sunday was such a microcosm of like play free. Because as soon as he got a lead, and he protected like hole 13, he
You're
hit
so
that,
right.
that entire week. They showed what he had. He had an eagle and 2 birdies, playing it aggressively, and then he hit 3-wood off the tee.
Totally.
He hit iron. He played it the way you're supposed to, like he putting on the brakes. And to your point, like you can't run the clock out. Then he fucking hits the wedge in the water, and all of a sudden it's tied up. And then he has to play aggressive again. And then he hits he eagle. You know, he hits the shot on 15, and he's got his foot on the gas. And then coming home on 18 again, he lets up, and like like I just thought it was so crazy that the moment, right, that when the pressure was on, and he like guarding versus like trying to play to win, you know, and like the two differences and how it went back and forth for him multiple times. And then I think to find himself on the right side of it, I thought was pretty cool.
I don't know if you saw the presser, but his caddy, you know, whatever he pays Harry Diamond, it's not enough, because he said that after he missed that putt, all right, and his world's crashing down.
Oh yeah, the camera's like just on his fucking face as he's walking to the scoring tent.
So on the way back to 18 in the cart, Harry turns to him and says, "Hey, on Monday, if this were Monday, you know, you would give everything to be in this position right now. You'd give everything that you ever did,
so good,
to be in this position in a playoff, right, with one other guy on
Amazing
18."
reframe.
And he's like, "You're absolutely right." And the reframing of that, he said, changed his entire. So caddies for life. I mean, caddies for life. Just unbelievable
Shane,
advice.
That is such a. I heard that story, but I don't think I quite like processed, to your point, like how cool that is. You know, of that changed Rory's. It literally probably changed his life. You hear that, right? Because who knows how many times you get back to the playoff, and you know what I'm saying? Like, and I remember when he was going into the playoff in the Players. Right. I still remember his interview. It was so good. It's a 3-hole playoff. And he was so calm. They asked him, like, how are you feeling about the playoff? And they expected him to be all tense. And he's like, I got to have 5 good swings. And I remember being like, man, what an amazing way to think about golf. You got 3 holes, it's a par 5, a par 4, and a par 3. And he's like, I just need 5 good swings and I'm ready. And it was so calm. And then he went and put on 5 good swings and he won the playoff. And that's like, I'm sure the opposite of what he was feeling going into the 18th playoff hole, until Harry Diamond gets him back of like, dude, 2 good swings and you win the fucking Masters. Like, come on. And that's what he did.
Best men in each other's weddings, by the way.
Is that right?
Cool to think about. Yeah.
It is. Caddies for life.